With Dune Awakening around the corner, and the fact that I spent over 30 hours in the beta with my brother, I wanted to offer some thoughts on how the multiplayer is used effectively in this game to increase both immersion and liveliness of the world. Now, the game itself, it may not be perfect, but we're not discussing that in today's video. What makes it unique? Dune Awakening is what I would call an MMO light. It offers a large-scale multiplayer that is akin to an MMO, but is also more condensed in its main zone, akin to an Ark server or a Rust server. It offers your typical survival experience, your gather, survive, craft, and expand, but with a twist. The world itself feels active at all times. Whether it be a sandworm chasing a player across the dunes, a team building their dream base across the way, or you logging on to realize you are part of a giant city in the rocks. What does this add? The activity of other players shaped the world you traverse through. During my experience with my brother, we both travelled early on to the East Vermilius location, which was the second zone. It was a barren, rocky wasteland, but we found a beautiful base location within a valley which we will so be claiming at launch. And while we ventured into this area rather quickly, it felt like we were the only ones to step foot here on the server. We went from this rather bustling metropolis, which was our starter base, next to a small city, to this lone wasteland across the valley that separates the zones. It was a tonal shift that dynamically changed as the days went. We logged off that night as the sole adventurers of this zone, and when we returned, it completely changed. Landmarks we had made out now had cities, dozens of houses were built up around rock outcroppings, and we also had visitors venturing into our base. It felt entirely different to the day before, whilst we hadn't any input ourselves. The world felt new, altered and shaped around a global progression, but most importantly, it really felt lived in. My experience. This is the factor that this game in particular captured me with. Seeing other players on the same adventure as us, but with different goals in mind, really made it feel alive. Watching those same players try reach the outposts on the map, fend off the worms, and occasionally die to harvesting spice, built up that immersive factor that many wish from NPC characters. It felt natural. It felt alive. There were moments where I ventured into outposts only to team up with another guy there who saved me many times from other enemies. Or sometimes I would use someone else's traversal to my advantage, allowing the sandworm to take to them while I snuck across the dunes myself. The world felt dynamic, and it always felt like something unexpected would happen. The core area of Hagen's Basin, which is the main zone, is a PvE zone, so there's no worry about other players ruining your day. But you could also optionally go to PvP areas, which were shipwrecks across the map to stir up some trouble. I personally did not do much PvP in the beta, but I am keenly interested in how it works in the full release. If you yourself are also interested in playing Dune Awakening and would like to play alongside myself and my brother, do be sure to join the Discord below, as we will be gathering a group to venture into the game with, and you don't want to miss out. The enhancement from this. The multiplayer made it feel like there were adventurers all around you, stepping foot into this harsh world, fending off the elements which were so unforgiving, and in the full release this will be further improved on, with the addition of the player markets, economy, and the fact that people can sell base blueprints to each other. There may be a point where a PvP player spots a perfect base, and just buys it outright from a PvE player who loves building, as a lot of systems are in place to complement all playstyles. What you can take away. If you are, like myself, loving the concept of making a world feel alive, you can take notes from this game. Whether you love the setting, PvP, or PvE, the key detail is how this game adapts all playstyles into a single environment. It mimics reality in a sense, bringing everyone with different interests into one common environment to interact with each other. It is my type of game, and although I can never replicate the same extremities shown in the game, the core of how it enhances an environment is something I want to learn, to replicate, and show you how to as well. Let players do what they want. The core rule that allows this to work is that the game allows you to play your way. As an explorer, you can sell map scans to other players to purchase. An adventurer can just traverse the lands killing for unique loot to sell on the market. And a builder can of course just build bases to distribute to players. There is really no limit to the interactions, and it flows dynamically. You can be a builder one minute and the next moment you may decide to do PvP. Who knows? The loot. The way loot designed also plays a factor into this. Unique loot can only be crafted from their specific blueprint, but there is a catch. The blueprint can only be used once, and to repair an item, you must have the blueprint in your inventory. This creates a scenario where your favorite gear is always in rotation, But you can obtain more by interacting with other players. Players who may not like your gear or have it in surplus will sell it on the markets for a price, which may fluctuate depending on the current meta in-game. Obtaining a blueprint can lead to either making a copy of the weapon or storing that blueprint for repairing. But even if you store it to repair, that too is also limited, as each item can only be repaired 3 times before it's broken. With this, loot is always fluctuating through the player pool, and depending on how the devs handle it, they can manage the rarity and scarcity of certain equipment. This falls back to all the roles you can play. An explorer can sell maps to unique loot locations in PvP zones that other players will fight over and sell on the market. Those players may set up outposts in the outer PvP maps, and for that they will look towards builders. All of this brings the world to feel alive, whilst your average adventure in Hagen's Basin feels active with sandworm activity, base building, civilizations being formed, and encounters being had. The lack of fast travel also greatly increases encounters, which enhances this overall. What am I going to do? I am deep into research in networking and multiplayer for game development, and with that, my experience here is helping shape future projects I have in mind. With scope limitations, of course, I'll be forming my own multiplayer within my games to reflect a living world that this game has made me feel is possible. It is not the only game out there that replicates this feeling, but it is one of the few that do it well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of what makes Dune Awakening's multiplayer feel alive, and I will see you in the next one, which will be after my holidays.